everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Rams Revealed. We saw the episodes with the hockey captains, but now we're going from the ice to the hardwood as the boys basketball team prepares for the FCIAC tournament on Tuesday the 16th, where they will be matched up as the 5 seed up against the Norwalk Bears, who they played a week ago and won. And hopefully for these guys, they hope it's going to be the same result on Tuesday night up against Norwalk. I'm joined by the 3 senior captains for New Canaan High, Will Bozzella, Magnus, and Christian Sweeney, as they look to win their first ever FCIAC championship together as a group. And we're going to start with Will. So you guys, unfortunately, aren't rolling into FCIAC with a big-time win. Went on the road up against Wilton, a very good team in their own right, and you suffered your biggest loss of the year. But how do you, as a senior captain, make sure that your guys, senior captains included, are ready mentally to rebound and jump into this FCIAC tournament, with the right headspace?
Yeah, it's short-term memory. Turn the page. It's a loss. They played us well. You gotta hand it to them.
Mm-hmm.
They defended pretty much what we threw at them, and we didn't recover the way we should have. But turn the page. Everyone has a bad game. We were due. Didn't come at a good time or great time, but we rebounded. We had a nice little practice today, and we'll head into FCIAC ready.
Good to know that you guys rebounded with a nice little practice. As you mentioned, Wilton has really caught you guys at the wrong place at the wrong time a couple times. You had 2 monster wins where you guys were probably gas against Staples and Richfield, and then this time around you were without Leo, you were out Steven, Panzano also battling an injury. Doesn't help. But Christian, you had a really solid game despite the loss. Led the team with 13 points. You made 4 threes. That's been a big part of your game throughout your career, has been able to hit the threes. What do you want to keep doing well as we head into FCIAC this week, and what do you want to try to brush up, in your game as well that you feel like this season you can continue to improve on?
Well, like you said, the 4 threes was a big part, so I want to continue to shoot well going into FCIAC. And one thing I think we have to brush up as like a team in general, especially myself, is our on-ball defense and our positioning on defense.
And I bet the defense will improve just a little bit when you get Leo back. He's got the size and the length, defend some guys in the FCIAC. There's not a lot of guys taller than you, Leo. And unfortunately, you haven't been able to play all the games this year. You missed a few games due to the COVID-19 protocol. Luckily, you didn't test positive. And then you've missed the last 3 games with a head injury, and luckily you're in good shape right now, but you're probably not going to be back on Tuesday up against Norwalk, and the team has been solid without you, but obviously they want you back. You guys are looking to win an FCIAC championship. You've won some big-time games this year, and you're one of the biggest players on the team, especially from an offensive standpoint. How eager are you return to the floor to make a run with these 2 guys in the Zoom room with you, and hopefully return on Friday in a game up against Wilton, potentially in FCIAC? But how eager are you to return once again and try to make this run if the guys win on Tuesday?
I'm really dying to get back out on the court. I'm no stranger to injury, all throughout middle school. I had a bunch of them, so I know what it's like to be on the sidelines, but I just try to stay positive and stay involved as much as I can with the team so that when I do come back, it doesn't feel like I missed much.
Yeah, hopefully you do get back on Friday with the guys, and hopefully the Norwalk Bears do not pull off that victory up against Christian and Will on Tuesday. And Will, back to you here, my good friend. You've already seen the Norwalk Bears once, and you played them on Monday on the road, also a game without Leo. How did you feel that game went? Not great offensively. You guys only scored 40, but you only held them to 28. Defense has really been your calling card all season long. And what's the game plan for defending this team now that you've already played them once?
Yeah, so I actually had 2 early fouls in that game. So I was out for most of the first half, the entire second quarter. And just as a team, we really didn't shoot the ball well. Like we couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I think that's the expression. But yeah, our defense, I think we held them to 13 points in the first half, or 16, or even less than that. And if we can, we can always control effort. You can't always control whether shots fall or not, but our defensive effort especially. Steven had a big game before he went down with an injury, and Griffin stepped off the bench, and a lot of guys. We just played really good defense, and then eventually our shots started hitting, and we were able to pull out the W at the end. But Norwalk's still a good team. They're still an aggressive team. They're a classic Norwalk team. They're up in your face, press you full court, and it's good that we've seen them, so we know we're up against, and hopefully get the same result.
And you're going to have that result, win or loss, at New Canaan High. You're going to be able to host that game before, if you win, you're going to have to hit the road to play the winner of if it's Wilton on the road, if it's Brian McMahon, hey, it's March Madness. Anything could happen, and you'd be back at home. But Christian, back to you here. You've played a lot over these last few years. Luckily, you haven't been hit by many injury bugs. You played a big role for this team really since sophomore year. You're a New Canaan High 3-sport athlete, but you played a lot of your time on that hardwood of a New Canaan High School gym. How important is it for you to get one last chance, if you guys do advance, if you guys don't, to play in an emptier gym, but still in a gym where your parents are probably going to be there rooting for you? You've made a lot of big memories in that gym, and how does it feel that you still have one more chance in your senior year to compete at New Canaan High?
Oh, well, it's everything. It's everything to me. It's everything to my teammates. My football season got cut short. I didn't have the chance to experience like a postseason type environment. So this game is everything to me. I'm gonna put my heart and soul into the court in these next couple practices, and we're really gonna be pushing to get back to play against Wilton.
Hopefully, you guys do get to play against Wilton or McMahon. We'll see how it goes. And then
Revenge
Leo,
game either way, Ian,
You're right, Will. Leo, last question for you here. You guys are in a tough bracket. There's no really shaking around that. With the 5 seed, you might have to go up against Wilton. Norwalk, as Will mentioned, is a classic team that, win or loss, are going to give you a run for your money with the effort they're going to put on the table. And then let's just say, in a hypothetical world, you go 2-0 this week, and there's the Richfield Tigers once again. It's a tough bracket. And then you're still not even in a championship. Then you're in a championship after that. So if you guys want to pull this off, you're going to have to play the best basketball you've played all year long. But this year's different from last year. This team is gelled in a different way, and you guys have a lot of fun together. No egos, as Coach Melzer likes to say. You just find ways at the end of games, your second-half team, to pull out with win after win. Why do you think this team is different from last year's team in that aspect of going into FCIACs? You really can compete as the 5 seed and go all the way.
I think it really comes down to just the camaraderie between us. Everyone from the starters down to the guys who don't get in the game, everyone brings a positive mindset every day. Everyone contributes, whether you're scoring 25 points a game or you're just giving energy off the bench. Really, everyone contributes, and it's important, especially in playoffs, that everyone's invested and everyone just wants to win on this team, and it's really great. It's great to see.
I guess one last question, because I was just thinking about it, because this team really does have a lot of different guys who can really destroy you. Not just you 3, but a lot of other players have stepped up for you guys this year to make the run you've had. I'm just going to go one by one, and if you guys can tell me who's one guy on the team who's just impressed you this year that maybe heading into the year you knew he'd be special, but you didn't know how good he'd really be, and now you know. Who's a guy, Will, who's impressed you the most this year with his on-court play?
So obviously, not obviously, but I'd figured that Blake was going to start this year, and I knew what he was capable of. Even when he was in 8th grade and I was a freshman, Coach would always talk about Blake. Oh, Blake, and I was like, I don't know who Blake is. But like last year, you could see it in practice. This year, and then this year came, and he's just way better. No fault to Blake, but he's just way better than I thought he was. He's super aggressive. He finds a way to get into his shot. If his 3 isn't hitting, he gets an open floater. Or he's a 3-level scorer, and he's just a dog. Like, I don't know if you remember in that Richfield game. I think it was Richfield when
I remember
he screwed up. Like, they passed the ball and he dove, and like we called a timeout. It's just like stuff like that. You can't teach that kind of stuff, and he just impressed me a ton.
And again, only a sophomore. Stanford certainly knows who he is. He had 23 points against them. He has really stepped up, and he just makes big shot after big shot for you guys. Christian, outside of Blake, who's another guy who this year maybe you didn't have the expectations as high as you should have for one of the guys on the team?
I'd have to say Dennis Mulcahy. Coming in this year, he wasn't really that much of an offensive threat, but as soon as I came in after football, I saw he was working with our coach Terrence, just working on his post moves, and it's really translated toward the games. He had back-to-back 18-point games, 16-point games, and has really stepped up for us this year.
Yeah, he had that great run against Staples. He had 17 points, I believe, and then against Richfield, another 15-plus point game for him. And ever since, he's still been a big factor for you guys on the offensive end, which makes your starting 5 even more dangerous. And Leo, lastly to you, who's one more guy outside of Wilson and Mulcahy who, again, you didn't really know maybe what you had in this guy beforehand, but now playing with him, you realize this is a guy who's going to help us potentially make a run?
I'm probably going to have to go with the freshman Griffin Bramwitt. he's kind of stepped in this year in a really just odd situation. We didn't really get a full preseason or a full fall league, and he's stepped in as a 15-year-old, and he's ran our offense at times, and he just looks so poised on the court and just wise beyond his years. That's all I can say about him. He's going to be a really special player.
It's tough to crack the rotation young. You guys did really all getting playing time from sophomore year going up, and you guys have really impressed. And hopefully Griffin and Blake, those young underclassmen backcourt, hopefully those guys are going to be the future of the program once you guys hopefully make a run this year and continue to prove why Coach Melzer and his crew just keep winning game after game. Hope you guys can keep winning game after game this FCIAC tournament. Again, Tuesday at 5 o'clock, it's official. You'll be hosting Norwalk. Hopefully you guys get the win there, and we at NCTV can cover more games for you guys this year. Episode 11 of Rams Revealed with Will Bozzella, Leo Magnus, and Christian Sweeney. I'm Ian Nicholas. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.